So for Arena, this card is shitty. It's 6 mana, 3/3, and if that dies, it doesn't change anything. Plus, it heals your opponent's minion. If you like destroy a 4/2 Mallegus or something, it comes back with full life. Babbling Book is okay. You can play it whenever, just get a random spell, but Blizzard is just one of the top tier spells. Especially for mages having AoE in your deck. And in this case also freezing the whole enemy board can give you 1 or 2 more draws to compete. I'm not sure how to rank the new cards, but Salty Dog is pretty bad. You should tend to play minions that have higher health, especially for 5 mana, 4 health. It just doesn't trade well. Yeah. The bots are there for like, I think 2 weeks. Unless I highlight them, then they get saved forever, but else they just disappear after some time. Micro Machine is a pretty good 2-drop. Fireland's Portal though. Let's take Micro Machine. It can be really good early on. That's pretty close. I mean, if you compare that to like Fireball, it's a lossless mana, 1 damage more, but you get the 5-cost minion. Can be a pretty shitty minion. Let's try that out. But they are kind of close. Yeah, but I died more to the North Sea Krakens. Okay, this is the shittiest option I have ever seen. Ancient Watcher is just one of the crappiest cards in Arena ever. Because you need activators for it. So it's either Bloodsail Courser or Secret Keeper. We don't have secrets right now. I guess against like rogues and deadly poisons, Bloodsail Courser is better. And most of the mage secrets in Arena are pretty shitty. Because most of the time you have to play them for 3 mana, and that's pretty expensive. So I'll go with the Corsair here. Okay, Silverhand Knight was one of the best cards in Arena at the start. It has fallen out of favor a bit. Taunt is pretty good in Arena. Arcane Intellect is great, but I don't like to pick it that early into the draft. Just because I want to have a smooth mana curve, and I don't know about my mana curve for now. So you can pick out of these. Arcane Intellect might be the best choice, but that depends on the rest of the cards that we draw pretty strongly. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate that. Yeah, so Shieldmaster here. Silverhand Knight is pretty strong, but this has kind of the same stats for 1 mana less and Taunt. This is kind of shitty. The Joust effects in Arena are pretty inconsistent. I mean, if you play this in Constructed, you have the advantage of putting some lower cost spells into your deck and higher cost minions to get this more consistently. This has kind of okay stats. The Silence Demon thing is not the best. Mages tend to have not so many minions, even in Arena. Knife Jungler is still a pretty good card, even post-nerf. Yeah. If you're kind of lucky at RNG, Knife Juggler is the best choice here. I'm not. But it's also pretty good early drop, and we also said no to the Micro Machine. So let's pick that. Tiny Fan is pretty bad. Bloodfan Raptor is a good 2-drop. And you want some 2-drops in your arena deck so that you don't just lose in like 5 turns. Spiteful Miss, of course we are not having any weapons, but 5 mana for 4/6 is pretty good. I mean, Chogant Yeti is 4 mana, 4/5. That's okay. You still kind of need both. It's pretty early into the draft. That is pretty close. Let's take the Raptor to build up our early game a bit more before doing much else. Amgam is a no pick. Like, one attack is just really not good. This here is of course better than Bloodfan because of the taunt, but Bloodfan is a beast, which for mages normally doesn't do anything. Here we have Beast, Dragon, Murloc, so we have 1 beast. So the option right now is, if we have the Bloodfan Raptor out, the Zubat is of course better, but that's kind of unlikely. And with the Thespian, we pay 1 less mana and get taunt and only lose 1 health pretty much at this point. So at this point in the draft, this is the better card. Flame Juggler can be really good with the Knife Juggler, because you get 2 hits in. Direwolf Alpha can save you in some situations. But as I said, in mage decks you don't pick for minions specifically. So it can be good, it can be not good. Arcane Anomaly, whenever you cast a spell, that's good for mages normally. Give this 1 health, but right now we only have very high cost spells, so that's probably not worth it. So it's between those two, and I like Flame Juggler a lot more. We have the Knife Juggler, so they can combo off. And of course this is a random effect, but if you look at the stats, this is vanilla, so without the flavored text. And thank you Lovings for the follow as well. Yeah, so without the card texts, this of course is a better card. I mean, it's not a beast, the Flame Juggler, but other than that, Direwolf Alpha is just too dependent for me here, so let's take the Flame Juggler. Frostwolf Warlord is normally a pretty good card in Arena, and we have a lot of minions. I mean, this is better in like a Paladin deck where you can get a free minion whenever you want, so this is guaranteed a 5/5. As mage, we don't quite have that. Elven Archer is pretty shitty in Arena. Chogant Yeti is a solid minion. I don't care that much about YouTube, but maybe. If it helps people, why not? I mean, I am not doing Arena much, so, but okay. Let's see. Maybe I'll upload it. So, German Daddy is a solid minion. Was also one of the best when the game just came out. Was pretty much in every deck. We have some 1 and 2 mana minions. So this might be worth it to take. Probably should take it. I mean, it's pretty close. In the worst case, we pay 1 more mana, get 1 less health. As a mage, we don't care that much about it. But this could well be a 6-6 or 7-7. Okay, Polymorph Boar can be a good finisher. It can deal with stuff like Ragnaros. So you just need to have 2 attack on board to kill pretty much any minion. Can be good. I like Polymorph kind of better. You can also trade with the minion that you just played. That's the upside of this. We still don't have a secret. And 5 mana for a 3-6 is just a lot. With the taunt effect, it can be okay. But for now, this is not good enough for our deck. Kazan Mystic can be pretty good. I mean, in every one of the last 3 games that we played in the last arena, we ran into some secrets that pretty much more or less wrecked us. So I like this right here. Thanks, Lovings. I appreciate that. So out of these 2 right now, I would prefer the Kazan Mystic just because it's a bit more defensive. And the fact that you actually get to keep the secret that you get from your opponent is pretty good. And it has okay stats. Okay. This is shitty. This can be pretty good in Mage, definitely. But as I said in our first pick with the Blizzard, if you get a lot of AoE in your deck as Mage, you can deal with a lot of stuff. Like, imagine all these 6-3 minions, they just die. So, this is pretty good. Nightblade is pretty shitty. I mean, it's like a Warlord, but instant damage to the face doesn't necessarily win you Arena, not even Constructed. Ship's Cannon is a solid 2-drop. 2-2-3 or 2-3-2 are okay. I mean, this can kill like a Knife Juggler, so I'm always preferring the ones that have higher health and attack. Of course, we don't have Pirates right now. Flame Lance pretty much depends. It can save you. Like, you can kill North Sea Krakens with this. That should be reason enough to just pick that after our last games. We have some 2-drops. We're getting pretty high mana spells, which I don't necessarily like, but Flame Lance can save our day pretty well. Okay, we don't have secrets, so Mad Alchemist is okay, could be better. Polymorph can do a lot of stuff. Well, see you, Ancient Secret. Hope you have a good night. Ooh, I'm pretty bad at predicting how much mins I get. There are decks like where I say, okay, maybe I get 3 or 4 and they go all the way. And then there are decks where I say I get 6 wins and it doesn't happen. Okay, Polymorph is a pretty good spell for mages. It can get rid of taunts pretty well. On 6 mana or more, if you have a decent board, you can just instantly kill an enemy with your hero ability. So Mad Scientist, like I said, is not good right now. Mugler's Champion is a pretty good card. But as I said, we are not that focused on minions. So it's kind of close. Well, we have a lot of 2-drops. Let's try Mugler's Champion. I mean, we have Flamelance and some AoE and a Firelance Portal, so we should have enough damage to deal with a lot of big minions. So we don't necessarily need Polymorph. Also, it's a pretty good card. But we also have a Frostwolf Warlord, and Mugler's Champion can get us to a point where some of the slower minions survive one more turn, so we can get a bigger Frostwolf. Murlocs, normally really not that good. Pit Fighter, I really like comparing cards to Children Yeti. So Pit Fighter is a Children Yeti that has been +1/+1 for 1 more mana, which is quite okay. It's like you're playing instantly a banana or something on that. Duplicate. There we have to look. I mean, all of these little minions, we don't care. Chasm Mystic could be good to get duplicated if the enemy plays a lot of secrets, which shouldn't technically happen. Getting Frostwolf Warlords back can be pretty good. But if that's our only minion on the field and it dies last and we just have 2 Warlords in hand, that's not so good. But Mugler's Champion is also pretty good to get duplicated. Plus we don't have a 3-drop right now, so we can take duplicate here. Mirror Image, not that good. It's a pretty cheap spell. You can delay 1 or 2 turns with it, but normally not worth it in Arena. Especially since we don't have anything that goes off of spellcasts right now. Squirming Tentacle, it's just a strange card in my opinion. Can be good. I mean, if you compare it to an Ironfur Grizzly, I would take this card over that, but I don't know. I just can't really measure this card. Sorcerer's Apprentice, on the other side, we are Mage. We have a lot of high cost spells right now. So maybe if we get the Sorcerer's Apprentice out on turn 5 and it survives, we can Flame Strike or Firelance Portal next turn. That can be pretty good. Also is a cheap minion for Frostlord, Frostwolf Warlord. Jouster, not that good. Antique Healbot, I don't like this card in Arena. It's 5 mana for a 3/3, and yeah, you heal 8 health, but what if the game goes so well that you are at full health anyway? Then this is a pretty crappy card. On the other hand, if you're against a pretty aggressive deck and you're already at 10 health, this card doesn't help you. I mean, Constructed, this card was played a lot. Of course, it's GVG. So there you could plan your deck around it a bit. But in Arena I really don't like this card. Water Elemental on the other side is a pretty excellent card. It has very good stats for his mana price. And the freeze, you can get like a big minion to not attack you for one turn. And hope to draw onto like Flame Lance or something if it's really a big problem. Or you can freeze the enemy's face if they are warrior or shaman or rogue or have some kind of weapon. So yeah, I like this card. Okay, a lot of charges here. Reckless Rocketeer is pretty bad. It pretty much dies instantly. Has a pretty high cost. Of course it deals 5 damage. But we have like Firelands Portal. That does pretty much the same. It's 5 damage for 1 more mana. Of course you don't get a minion that you can choose, but you get a 5 cost minion, and most 5 cost minions have better stats than this Reckless Rocketeer. So just to put that into some kind of relation. Argent Horse Rider can be good if your opponent has like a Reckless Rocketeer or something. But we already have a lot of 2-drops, and Draconite Crusher can be pretty good. I mean, if you get your opponent to 15 health and play this and it's just a 9/9 and he doesn't answer that, he's pretty much done for. But even before, it's still a 6/6 minion. 6/6 are pretty huge and normally trade for 2 or 3 minions. We have some taunts, so we can hide it a bit. Looking at our mana curve, we're kind of low on 3 and 6s. But we have a lot of 2-drops, so the 3-drop are not that important. So let's go with Draconite here. Okay, we actually have a lot of beasts right now. And we have a dragon. That's a beast. Oh, okay, we don't have that many. But we can still make this work, kind of. I don't really like Scarlet Crusader. Just because there are a lot of mages and druids or something. So normally we don't really get these 6 damage in. Dragonhawk Rider is a 3/3, but it dies pretty soon and it requires you to ping, which looking at our higher costs here is not likely happening every turn. So stat wise, I would prefer the Zubot because of the buff it can give. Yeah, Scarlet Crusader, it's pretty much a personal choice if you like this card or not. And from my own experience, mostly it doesn't do much. Like, enemies are pretty likely to have some low drops laying around on the board either way, and then it gets pretty awkward to play this, so let's take the Zubot. I've already talked about these cards, how I don't like them, because this effect doesn't necessarily win you games. This also, plus it's a pretty high cost. So let's talk about the Many Berserker. It has Enrage. We are playing Mage. So what we can do is we can play this on turn 2, if we get it that early. Ping it next turn and it has 5 attack. It's a 5/2 then. I mean, I said Reckless Rocketeer is a pretty bad card, but it also costs 5 mana in 1 turn. So, no, 6 mana actually. So Many Berserker pretty good. Pretty much all the enrages that are not like weapon based, like Spiteful Smith or something, are pretty good. So this year's pretty interesting. Babbling Book can be really good depending on what spell we get. Combos pretty nicely with our Frostwolf. Spell damage can have our Flamelins a bit, but there are not a lot of 9 health minions out. So we don't necessarily need this here. Blizzard for 3 damage instead of 2 to everything can be okay. Firelands Portal for 6 damage doesn't do that much more. Flame Strike for 5 damage is pretty strong. But like I said in the beginning, as mage, you want to get a lot of AoE, because that's just a really strong mechanic in this game. If we would get like some other AoEs in addition to those we already have, right now we have 1 Blizzard, 1 Flame Strike, then you can go and take a look at the others. But right now Blizzard is still by far the best card of those. We do have a Zubot that's a mech. Don't think we have any others. So Zubot plus that is kind of good. It's a pretty strong card, even without the battle cry. But of course, it has pretty much the same problem. It has the stat distribution is just a 4-5 here. Like a German Yeti again would be so much better, because 4 health dies to a lot of things like Frostbolt, Ping, Consecration with a shielded mini-bot or so. This can trade pretty badly. So we have to see. Secret Keeper, we have 1 secret, but that's not quite enough to make this good. Of course, it always also goes up of enemy secrets that are being played, but I don't really like this card. It's good for a Warlord, but that's pretty much it. Fallen Hero can be extraordinarily good. With this card we pretty much have the Hunter hero power, only that we can choose where it goes. This has the potential to be pretty strong. It's another 2-drop, from which we have quite a lot right now. So for that reason, we maybe should go to the Goblin Blast Mage. Looking at our curve, some 3-drops would also be good, but to kind of level this out, the Goblin Blast Mage fills this hole better. Yeah, the normal mana curve you would have, you normally want in Arena is like this. So having pretty much a mountain here. So we already would have too many 2-drops in this definition, but especially since we're playing Muklas and Warlord, that is okay. But we really should take it into consideration to play some higher mana stuff. Leper Gnome, as I said, these deal damage to face cards are not that good. Especially since the nerf that this is a 1/1/1. I wouldn't like to play this at the moment. Infested Tauren is nice. It has pretty low stats, but a death rattle effect that summons you another minion, so it's sticky, what we call it. And having sticky minions is pretty good because your opponent will have a pretty hard time clearing all of your board. And having even this 2/2 on the board can make a huge difference. Because it can be a 3/3 turn after, or maybe Blizzard just isn't enough damage to kill one of his bigger minions. So it can be good. Here Shatter is pretty interesting because we have Water Elemental for the freeze effect, as well as 2 blizzards. So if that is not enough to kill something, we could just shatter it then. But I don't know. I mean, we have a lot of AoE. In pretty worst case scenarios, we would like Blizzard into Flame Strike to kill a bigger minion. But that's still pretty good because that's 6 damage to everything your opponent holds in 2 turns. And after the first turn, everything that survives, that doesn't get killed and spawn a death rattle minion or something, can't attack. So this is also pretty good combo. So I would rather go with a sticky minion here. Death rattle effects also is pretty good for a warlord. That's just what sticky minions do. And it's better for our curves than picking another 2 mana card. Okay. Tomb Spider is a pretty solid card. It has kind of low stats, but there are a lot of good beasts out there to discover. Silverhand Knight is kind of okay. It spawns 2 minions for the price of 1. And the stats are pretty okay. Considering we have Muklas and Warlord again. This makes up for a pretty good combo. And we have the Bog Reaper. A very huge taunt minion. Thing is, if you play against like a North Sea Kraken, which we have done a lot in the last games, this is pretty good. I mean, it trades 1 for 1, and the North Sea Kraken still lives, but only with 1 health, so we have a lot of ways to deal with this. We already have 2 7-drops, but they're all pretty good. I think that Taunt is just pretty solid, and that's just a lot of health to go through. A 6/8 with Taunt is pretty immense. So let's take that. Okay, another secret. Ice Barrier is pretty shitty. I mean, it's kind of like the heal bot, except you don't get a minion, but you get the guaranteed health, pretty much. Plus it's a secret. It can throw off your opponent from his play. Can be good, can be bad. Gadgetzan, like I said, not that good a card. Clockwork Gnome can be good. Gives us another option to play on turn 1. It's pretty good for the Frostwolf Warlord and Muklas Champion. It can trade into a 3/2. Naturally, that's pretty good. And it gives us a spare part, which can be quite good, like freezing a minion or getting that +1 attack or something. So this can be pretty good. Plus, we have a Sorcerer's Apprentice, so maybe we can play this spell card for free anyway. But yeah, I'm just not a big fan of secrets in Arena. So Clockwork Gnome here. BS Barrier would fit into our hole here. But I really just think it's not that good of a card. Okay. So Sanjin we already have. It's a good card, it's another taunt. Which is kind of important in the current meta and how other players are picking cards as far as I know. We have another Zubot. So we have a dragon here, we have a beast there. We have another one of those here. So we still don't have a deck packed with all of that which we can buff. This fits pretty good in our curve. We have the Goblin Blast Mage. That could tip the scale here. Let's talk about Spectrum Might. It's a pretty good card. Again, if you compare it to Chilling Yeti, 1 more health for 1 more mana. But the special ability is really good. So this can only be killed by AoE or brawls, or destroy a random enemy minion, or by just straight up trading, which is pretty good. So, but I guess to get a better mana curve, Zubot is quite good. It enables our Goblin Blast Mage a bit more likely, and we can make use of this battle cry, so it's an okay pick. Stonestone Gargoyle, pretty bad stat-wise. If you can't buff this like paladins or mages could, can be pretty bad. I mean, obviously good against paladins to trade for their hero abilities, but you don't need a minion to do that. Lost Tall Strider is a beast, so we can buff that. And it's a 4/5. Like I said, I like 4/5s a lot more. Let's see that. Stat-wise, really not that great. But we get a 0/5 minion with taunts. I don't like taunt minions that don't have attack, because it delays your opponent a bit, but it doesn't change the state of the board much. So we're going with the Lost Tall Strider here. It's a beast. It's a good fall drop. Okay. Acidic Swamp Ooze. We have the Bloodstyle Cursor, which can kill an enemy weapon. Doesn't have to necessarily. So Acidic Swamp Ooze is a pretty good card in Arena. Imagine like your opponent has an Assassin's Blade. There are actually a lot of weapons out right now that you can get. Also the weapon you get from Medivh is pretty good to get rid of. Or like the Shaman Hammer, the Doom Hammer. If you can get rid of that, that can save you. But even a Fiery Warwick or something is pretty good to get rid of. Flesh Eating Ghoul, pretty good card. It's really good in our deck, because we have a lot of low cost minions to trade with, and we have Blizzard and Flame Strikes. So imagine your opponent has like 7 kind of weak minions out, and you play that plus Flame Strike, this could be a 9-3. Plus it fits in our mana curve pretty good. Tentacle of the North is kind of weak. I mean, whirlwind effects are not that bad, but your opponent can choose to trigger that when it don't hurt him, or when it hurts you. Or maybe he just gets all of your minions to 1 health or something, and if you play that, this could backfire pretty drastically. So it's between these two. Both of them die fairly quickly. Stat-wise, the Flesh-Eating Ghoul has a better distribution, at least to my liking, but it's also more expensive. It's pretty close against between those two. We have kind of a thing that's good against weapons, but I really think with we got some AoE and we are mage, we are able to destroy minions fairly quickly. I guess Flesh-Eating Ghoul could be pretty good here. I mean, don't get me wrong, Acidic Swamp Ooze is a pretty good card in Arena, but we really have a lot of 2-drops. So Flesh-Eating Ghoul might be the better pick here. Okay, some 1-drops, which are kind of okay. Clockwork Gnome, we also have one. Also enables our Goblin Blast Mage, which is pretty good. So you can play that combo at turn 5. We are kind of okay on the 3-drops right now, but Raging Worgen again has an Enrage, which is pretty good, and we have a very convenient way as mage to enrage our minions. So Raging Worgen is just way better compared to these 1-drops. Okay, Boulderfist Ogre, big minion, just like the Bog Reaper, can trade really well. Polluted Hoarder has pretty crappy stats for the mana, but draws you a card. We haven't had the chance to talk about the card draw mechanic until now. So drawing cards in Arena is worth a lot. Because imagine like your turn 5 have played all your little minions and only have 7 and 6 mana cards, or maybe even 5 mana cards in your hand, and you're pretty much out of options. So drawing a card can be pretty good, but this dies so quickly. I mean, if it's like the Loot Hoarder, where it's 2 mana 2/1, that's pretty much every of these values halved. That's a lot better than having this one. So this just dies me too quickly for the card draw effect to be still good. Buff and Tidehunter drops 2 minions for the price of 1. These are pretty shitty minions against the Whirlwind effect or mages. This 2/1 dies immediately. It's pretty good for our Warlord and Champion again. But having this really big minion out here just does a lot more. So we're picking the Ogre. Oh wow. That's the last card we can pick. Let's start at the right side. Nostormu, it's a dragon, we can buff dragons. The active effect is pretty nice, slows up the speeds up the pace of the game quite a lot. It's a dragon, 9 mana, 8/8, pretty standard. It's an okay card. I really like the effect, but the effect doesn't change the board state pretty much. It just makes it so that slow players have a decisive disadvantage. I am quite a quick player, so this plays into my hand. Let's look here. Both Ram Shield. Whenever your hero takes damage, this minion takes it instead. I don't like this card a lot. I mean, yeah, it heals you pretty much for 9 damage. But if you don't, if you have taunt minions out, it doesn't matter either way. But your opponent will just not attack this card. They will just attack your face and this minion will die at some point. So it's pretty much on the same level for me, which is pretty hard to say, but I'm gonna say it, as Mirror Image. 4/6 mana, of course, you can get an attack in. It has a lot of health, but it just doesn't do anything for being a legendary. Okay, and Dr. Boom. I don't know, there was talk in the chat that I should upload this to YouTube for people to help them get behind what you can think about when picking an arena draft. Especially for new people. I don't know, if you just recently started playing Hearthstone, you might not know this card. But if you played Hearthstone at some point before, you know this card. It's just very good. It's a 7 mana 7/7, which means it doesn't die to Big Game Hunter. A Fireball is not enough. You need like a Flame Lance for it. It's just a pretty strong card, but the best is the Battle Cry, which summons 2 1/1 Boombots. If these Boombots die, they deal a random amount of damage to one of your opponents, up to 4 damage, which can pretty much wreck their day. So yeah, I really don't like both. This doesn't get the effect to speed up the turns, but it's 2 mana less for 1/1 less, but you get the Boombots, so this is just pure value. Oh yeah, plus it's 3 minions in 1, so again, Warlord, Mookless Champion can be good there. For expectations, it's not the best deck. It has some combos with the Goblin Blast Mage and the Zoobots. And Knife Juggler plus Dr. Boom or something. It has some taunts, some sticky minions, not that much spells as I would have liked to have in the Mage deck. But the spells we do have are pretty good. So, I don't know, knowing my luck, this will get like 5 wins. If you're a kind of luckier person, you can get like 10 wins. I don't know if it's... for 2 wins, for 12 wins, you really need a lot of luck here. But okay. I have to take a short break. Let me look at my quest here. Okay, we are just playing for 1 win today anyway. But yeah. After the break we'll see how this goes. See you soon. Okay, I'm back and I really hate being sick. Okay, I have music completely muted for some reason. Okay. So let's see how this... Yeah, the Dr. Boom is ridiculous. Yeah, thanks for the compliment there. I mean, I really am not a professional player in this game. Keep that in mind if we just get our faces wrecked here. This is a pretty good starting hand. We have a 1-drop against Mage, okay, he can ping that down at some point. A 2-drop, which is pretty solid. We don't have a 3-drop right now, but we made up for the missing 3 drops quite well, I would say. It's our first AoE. Don't need that right now, but this should come in handy. I've played this guy multiple times. Let's see. Of course, Blizzard is not as good against Mage. Him Arcane Missiling here is ridiculously good for us. We could Sorcerer's Apprentice armor plating here, but the thing I'm scared of right now is Frostbolt, and him Frostbolting this would be pretty good for him. So playing this minion kind of like as a test is pretty okay. That is pretty okay for us. He's kind of speculating of me attacking that or not attacking that. And him being able to ping that off. But we can kind of say, no, you're not pinging off that. Also got our Dr. Boom here, which means we will have it at turn 7. Okay, that's okay. We have to ping that, else we lose both of our cards, and I really would like to keep the sorcerers. Which sadly means that we can't play anything else. We could have played the water elemental instead and just not attack. But that's kind of awkward. At least from now on we have a pretty good plan if we have to ping something on board. That was a pretty weak turn for me, but I think in the long run this should be okay. So we could Blizzard here, but that would be pretty stupid. So we are pinging here, but this time at least we can play the Worgen with this. Keza Mystic pretty good against mages, so if he has some secrets in his deck, which is kind of likely with mages, we are keeping this for then. If he doesn't kill this turn, that's pretty much 8 damage. Okay, he does, but this, he spent 5 mana on this whole turn. That is kind of okay for us. 2-drop is excellent, so we can use all our mana here. Of course we are keeping the Kazan for actually either him playing a secret or us having no other option, or no better option. Dr. Boom is coming up next turn, and after that we can have a pretty strong warlord, depending on how this goes. That's fine. We could Blizzard here. That's pretty bad. Oh yeah, also the boombots are max, so that's pretty good for our Goblin Freeze Mage, Goblin Blast Mage. This is shitty. I really want to play Dr. Boom. And the Blizzard doesn't do much here. Of course we can trade here and ignore that, but we can't even ping that, so we're just doing this. We could choose not to attack here, but he would trade there anyway. In case of him having like a Frostbolt or so to kill off the taunt, this is a better play. Right now he should be pretty pissed that I got Dr. Boom on turn 7. Unless he has like Flame Strike, that was pretty bad. But if he doesn't have AoE, we have a pretty strong Warlord coming up. He can kill the 2 boombots, but then this is at least a 6/6. Plus we can play Zuma. Don't Arcane something me. That would be pretty shitty. Yeah, ping. Nice. Okay, I don't know why it tagged this and didn't ping it off. Oh, okay. That's kind of shitty. Well, this could hit for 4 here. Okay, it doesn't. That's Goblin Blast Mage. Thing is, this is our only mech right now. Dr. Boom himself is not a mech, and we cannot ping if this fails. So we might just play a big Frost Wolf here to keep the pressure up. Trading here makes it so that you can't just ping him off. I would rather have the 7 damage in his face right now. He still needs to trade for one of these in our 6/6 unless he has a fireball or something. He is kind of safe. Good thing is Blast Mage should be able to proc next turn. I don't think he's killing off the 3/3. He has more important stuff to do right now. So this was a sneaky way to get in the activator for our Blast Mage. Really? If he kills just a 3/3, I would say it's a stream sniper. I don't think so. But that would be ridiculous. Really? What the fuck is happening? That's ridiculous. I don't know what to do. Okay, we have 14 damage for face here. We could just freeze his minions. And we could kill this, but we are pinging face to give us a better chance to kill him next turn. I mean, he needs a heal or an ice block. Else he's pretty much done for. That's a heal. But that should not be enough. That's not a taunt. Nice. Okay. So our deck did pretty good. Drawing one of the 1-drops on turn 1 is pretty fine. We have Enrage for our Mage Hero ability. We didn't get to see those here. Stars of Apprentice can be helpful, but we don't have that many spells. Ooh, we could get Duplicate on like Dr. Boom, but I think the Boombots will die first, so... we didn't see Flesh Eating Goon in action, but in this game there weren't a lot of minions anyway. I really don't know why he killed the Zoobot. I mean, okay, he would have had to trade to get rid of the others, because it was the Torch level 1, not the second card you get out of it. So we could have activated the Blast Mage, but we didn't. Chasm didn't do much there. Water Elemental was pretty neat. We got a 6/6 Warlord. That could have been an 8/8. The one Blizzard at least stopped a lot of damage and stopped him from trading. So that was pretty good. We did draw our Doombot before turn 7. That was pretty amazing. Nah, the thing is, I don't think I have instant replay right now. So the thing is, I don't think he was watching, to be honest. He had the, what's it called, Flaming Torch burning. Forgotten Torch. And this only deals 3 damage. So for some reason he didn't want to trade into my 6/6 and 7/6. And just wanted to get rid of some damage on board. That's why he played the Forgotten Torch on the 3/3. Because he couldn't kill one of this one of the bigger minions without trading too. I don't know why he didn't trade and just played this instead. But he could have traded with Ping and played this. But instead he played this and some minion.